Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Deceased Unkillables, issue number 1 of 3. You're only doing 3? That's cool. You know what, Tom Taylor? I freaking love you, baby. The idea that you're only doing 3 because you've only got 3 stories to tell is beautiful, as opposed to the typical, oh, we got to make sure it's 6 stories so they all fit in a trade paperback. F your trade paperback. I buy floppies. Anyhow, enough about me. Let's talk about this book. Let's talk about who made this book. We'll get into the story itself. Can you tell I'm excited about this book? This was hot, baby. This was hot. Hot is important because you need fire to kill zombies. Anyway, this is Deceased the Unkillables, written by Tom Taylor, penciled by Carl Mozart, inks by Trevor Scott, Neil Edwards, and John Livesey. The colors are by Rex Locus, and Saida Timofante does the colors, the letters. And the cover is by Howard Porter and Tomio More. Variant covers by Francisco Mattina and Yasmin Putri. It's the only other thing here, so I'll put down that the editing is done by Ben Abernathy. Anyway, this is all taking place on day 2 of the anti-life virus. Basically, Slade Wilson is out killing Nazis. So he's like, oh, and turns out they're also zombies. So the worst of the dead and the worst of the living. I love that. that was good moves. So he kills these guys, but he looks at his phone because he's got to renegotiate the contract. And that's when all of a sudden it hits him. The anti-life virus. So this dude dies. But the thing is, he comes back 2 days later. My peeps, this is just 2 pages into the comic book. 3 pages, technically. So it's not really that much of a spoiler. Like, this is in the preview pages. You know what I'm saying? He comes back. Why? He's got that healing factor. Now, his daughter doesn't have quite the same luck. She has the ability to see the future, apparently. I know next to nothing about Rose Wilson. Slade I know a good deal about. I don't really know his kids that well, so it kind of detracts from what I know about him. But it's not the point, all right? He has a healing factor, so that protects him from this anti-life virus equation thing. Anyhow, there's a couple other people who have certain abilities that protect them. And also some people who are just really good at surviving. Mirror Master is one of them, and he's like, hey, come on over and hang out with me. Now, I'm only going to tell you one other person who's involved in the bad guy cleanup effort, and that's actually the Creeper. Why? Because the dude made shirts. I'm saying, dude, if you're not familiar with Ditko's The Creeper, Ditko did a pretty cool job of taking care of the Creeper, but I really like the really off-the-wall bonkers version of the Creeper also. The mass murdering version of Plastic Man type Creeper. They're both very interesting characters, especially when he's done in this particular way. Anyway, they got to go off and they're just basically trying to survive for all intents and purposes. But this is a story about the bad guys. And one of the bad guys is technically Red Hood. Oh, this was wicked, man. I dug on this. Like, yeah, we got to talk about Red Hood. So he shows up and he goes back to the Batcave and he sees Batman and he sees Batman and a couple other family members there and he decides to make some graves for them. And this is cool because of what he specifically puts on the grave. That makes me happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, mind you, I've got that wicked Jersey humor. Wicked is actually something that they say up in Boston. You know, it's wicked cool, man. But anyway, like we've got that wicked sense of humor. You know what I'm saying? Where we call each other by insulting each other. Hey, you a-hole. Hey, you stupid bastard. Like, we say stuff like that. And it's a term of endearment. It really genuinely is, you know? So he goes and points out, and let's be realistic, Gotham City is technically in New Jersey. You can argue if you want. You'd be wrong, though. Anyway, what do you call it? The way that what he actually writes on the tombstone, the headstone for Batman, I think is absolutely perfect, and it's so Red Hood. So I really dug on this. Everything else that happens in the book is just a really great addition. There are only 2 surviving members of the Bat family, and we find out who they are in this, and it's really, really sad. But at the same time, it makes a good chunk of sense, especially considering one of the Bat family members and who is also on the villain side. That could actually be an interesting play right there. I wonder how that's actually going to work out. Guys, if you read the first issue of Deceased, then you read all the way through to the 6th because there's no way you were putting them down. which means you also probably read this. I hope that nobody's sneaking in here. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. This is not a big spoilers review. There's just a couple little details in there to hopefully, egg you on to actually go out and buy the book, read the book, sit down with the book, enjoy the freaking book. But this right here, man, I mean, at the end of the day, this totally lives up to the hype of those first issues, the regular DCeased series. And I can't wait to see what else Taylor's got. After these 3 are over, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. I'm already so much more excited for all of this DCeased angle than I am for anything that the Marvel Zombies did after that first arc. That being that first run, that first volume, whatever. This was fun, and I genuinely think you guys are going to enjoy this. So if you haven't picked this up yet, rectify that mistake because it's worth it. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.